The sun had barely risen over the hills when David opened his eyes. The golden light touched the edge of his harp, resting near his bed. The soft rustling of olive trees outside his window whispered, "It is good to give thanks to the Lord." David smiled. His heart was full. He had seen both storms and sunshine, victories and tears, yet today his soul felt light. He took the harp in his hands, gently strumming the strings. The sound blended with the morning birds, forming a melody of pure gratitude. "It is good to proclaim your love in the morning," David said, gazing toward the sky, "and your faithfulness at night." Each word carried warmth. He remembered the nights when he hid in caves, hunted by Saul, yet God had been his refuge. He remembered hunger and betrayal, yet God had never left him. The morning now felt like a new beginning, an unspoken promise. David walked outside. The grass sparkled with dew, the air smelled of new life. He began to sing softly, "Lord, you have made me glad through your works. I will triumph in the works of your hands." The villagers nearby heard his voice. Children paused their play, shepherds stopped their flutes, and women carrying water turned to listen. The song of thanksgiving spread like the fragrance of rain. David's eyes glistened as he looked toward the Temple Hill. "The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree," he whispered. The palm, always green, always standing tall even in dry places, was the image of his faith. Gratitude filled his chest like sunlight fills the sky. His troubles, his wounds, his loneliness, all seemed smaller in the light of God's goodness. "O Lord," he sang louder, "you are my rock. There is no unrighteousness in you." As the morning grew, David sat beneath a fig tree and wrote his song. It would become Psalm 92, a hymn for the Sabbath, a melody for generations. When the last note faded, David looked heavenward. "Thank you," he whispered, "for giving me peace beyond my battles." And that day, the song of gratitude rose from one man's heart and became a river flowing through the ages, teaching everyone who would listen that it is good to give thanks to the Lord. The days passed, and David's song spread through Israel. Travelers carried it across deserts and villages. One evening, a young shepherd named Eli sat under a lonely palm tree, singing Psalm 92. "The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree," he murmured, touching the tree's rough bark. He was poor and weary. His flock was small, his hut simple. Yet when he sang David's song, something stirred within him hope. He watched the palm's tall figure swaying in the desert wind. Its roots went deep, hidden beneath the sand. Eli realized faith was like that, unseen but strong. The next morning, when the sky turned crimson with dawn, Eli rose early and prayed. "Lord, help me be like this tree, not rich, not proud, but rooted in you." As days turned into weeks, drought hit the land. Streams dried up, fields turned brown, and many trees withered. But the palm where Eli prayed still stood green and alive. People from nearby villages came to rest in its shade, amazed at its endurance. An old traveler once asked, "What's your secret, boy? How does your tree live when others die?" Eli smiled. "It's not the tree," he said, "it's the Lord of the tree." Every evening he sang Psalm 92, his voice rising through the still air. "Those who are planted in the house of the Lord shall flourish in the courts of our God." Years later, when Eli grew old, the same palm still stood beside his home, tall as ever. It had become a symbol in the desert, a reminder that when one's faith is planted deep in God, no drought can destroy it. And in his final days, Eli whispered to his grandson, "Child, never forget the righteous may bend in the storm, but they do not break. God's roots go deep."